On my way to the star vending machine to get, I've really become a fan of these 100 yen fucking brown sugar lattes in the little can, the little warm can. It's a nice, beautiful, clear day, a little chill in the air, just teetering between being nice and being cold. So that means it'll be nice for today, and then tonight it'll be cold. And man, this machine, it's always further than I think it is. And then I'm like, I didn't walk past it, right? I couldn't possibly walk past it. And then whenever I think that, it's always about to appear. So I predict it's about to appear. There it is. I don't think I've ever described this machine. It's yellow, so it stands out a lot. And it's got like a dog who kind of looks like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon dog, but if he was anime style, kind of. And it just says 100 yen with like a lightning bolt flash. Not lightning bolt, I guess it's just a flash of surprise type logo. And then it says 1 coin! Exclamation point, question mark. And it's like, I know, right? I know. So good. Now that I'm here, I feel like I should get 2, but that's just ridiculous. That's just gluttonous behavior. Oh, yes, please. Oh, it's so warm. Oh God, it's so warm. I've never cracked it like immediately. I usually like let it warm up my hands for a bit. But let's bust this bad boy open post haste and burn myself. Like how hot are these things on the inside when you first get them? No, it's perfect. Geez, I just tried to talk into the latte. It's perfect on the inside. It's just the can. God, that can is so hot. What the shit? Oh. So it's the 23rd today, almost Christmas. And I just was like, what do I do with myself? It's just surprising how tough it is to kind of pick a target in the city. I mean, I'm only going to be in this location a little bit longer. The 26th I'm leaving, so it's just Christmas, and then I'm out of here. But yeah, being by nature, like in West Tokyo or in Fukuoka, it's just never a question. It's so easy. Especially, I guess, because of the meandering style of traveling that I do. Since I'm not, going to the places necessarily and going to specific stuff, I'm just kind of wandering around. So when there's a big park or a big mountain, especially, just woods and nature and stuff, perfect. You're wandering around, you're doing it, you're there, it's like fait accompli. You're just automatically having a day. Where it's not quite the same when you're in the center of Tokyo, because it's a cool city and it's nice to wander around and everything, but not like for 2 fucking weeks. It's just kind of city. It's just more city. City after city after city after city. And yeah, I did one more gander of just like, I don't know, stuff to see in Tokyo. Specifically, I was like, anything nature-y, maybe? And not really. Like, there's a mountain out west that is more accessible than the one I went to the other day. But still not exactly close. Still a 2-hour trek. Like, it's still something that I'll do when I get to my Airbnb that's out west. There was like a nature ravine near Sengenjaya. And I was like, oh yeah, how did I miss that? I had heard of that. I looked it up before I went there. But I figured out how I missed it is because it's closed right now. I actually did walk by it. I walked over it and I looked down and I'm like, what's going on down there? But it was like, pylons and tape. And the Google reviews just say that it's closed, but no one quite knows why. But apparently it's also not exactly huge. It's like, a kilometer, I guess, of like pretty rough nature-y type shit going on. If it were open. Yeah, I mean, just to put it bluntly, I just don't know what to do with myself today, or I didn't. But then I realized, like, okay, I did have, my vague Christmas plan was to go to Ikebukuro and do the loop. Ikebukuro to Oji Station to Nakaitabashi. Because that's just one of my favorite parts of Tokyo, walking up the Shikuji River. I love it. I was like, if I'm going to give myself a Christmas present that doesn't involve going to West Tokyo and hiking up a mountain, that's the one. But since I'm leaving my Airbnb on the 26th, then the 25th, actual Christmas day, I believe is going to be laundry day. I got to do laundry one more time before I go. But that's fine. I like laundry days, nice chill laundry days. And apparently Christmas, not that I'm like partaking in any of the Christmas stuff that's going on around here, or that it even matters. I mean, obviously in North America, we're just very surface level and commercial about Christmas. So it's even more so in Japan. And whatever stuff they do, I heard it's basically like Christmas Eve is the big day. That's the day you line up at KFC or whatever. Because I guess I've never brought that up. It's a fairly famous thing now. But that, KFC is sort of like turkey. And since turkey's kind of a Christmas meal, and the Colonel kind of looks like Santa, KFC managed to do this whole thing where they convinced everybody that, hey, this is what you do on Christmas. You eat KFC. And it really worked. Apparently it's really hard to get KFC on Christmas. You got to pre-order it. And then, where us in the West, we're like, okay, I can see how those dots got connected, but we definitely don't give a shit about KFC for Christmas. If anything, that's like weird. It's like blasphemy. Even though all we do is blaspheme against Christmas with our commercial ways. Why not eat KFC? But anyway, Christmas Eve is the day. And then apparently Christmas Day, you can expect to see people literally tearing down Christmas decorations. They don't even give it one more day. They're like, it's over. So yeah, I got no big Christmas plans. Doing laundry on Christmas is fine. So I won't be going to Ikebukuro on Christmas. I could go tomorrow on Christmas Eve, or I could just go today. What the hell am I waiting for? Like if I don't know what I'm doing with myself today and I really just can't find any more targets in central Tokyo to go see, it's surprising how fast I kind of used up the landmarks and the stuff in the major places. And if I'm just going to walk around at random, Ikebukuro to Oji to Nakaitabashi, that's the key, dude. That's the shit. I love that walk. So I'm going to do that. And then as for tomorrow, who knows? Maybe I'll do it again. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? Whatever. I'm just waiting until I can get back out west and get back into the woods and get back onto the mountains. This has been nice. This has been fun. But I have been here a little too long. The full Japan experience, I think, is really to have the mix, the parts that are partially city and partially countryside, which as far as I can tell is pretty much everywhere, is pretty much every single place in Japan except smack dab in the center of Tokyo, This is the only place where the cityness just never stops. But yeah, Christmas was kind of my vague target because I wasn't sure what I was doing initially. I thought I would just meander around Canada for a bit before I came to Japan. But then Canada was too expensive. All the Airbnb prices were insane. So instead I was like, all right, I guess I'll stay in my hometown and then go to Japan. But either way, it was just like, basically, I just want to be in Tokyo on Christmas. And in my perfect vision, I was like, maybe it'll even snow. Imagine just walking around Shibuya, Shinjuku, while it's snowing. Beautiful. But I mean, if it snows, I'll be completely shocked. It's like even nicer out than I thought it was. It's like getting warmer. It would take an act of God to make it snow, but that's okay. I didn't come here for snow. Could have gone up north for snow. Just wanted to be here because it's like that thing where either if you're home for Christmas, that's great. But if you're just in like other big cities, like whenever I'm in Toronto or Vancouver and all my friends who live near there, they go home for Christmas and I'm just wandering around by myself and it's always like kind of like blah. Where I just knew like, yeah, I won't feel like that in Tokyo. I'll just be glad I'm in Japan. And I will. Because I mean, I honestly don't really care that much about Christmas. It's just the whole environment of Christmas is so Christmassy all the time. It makes you care about Christmas whether you want to or not. So So I did not envision doing laundry, but now that I'm here, I'm like, yeah, that sounds fine. That sounds fine to me. Laundry day Christmas. But yeah, since I'm going to Ikebukuro, that should be an easy trip from here. Just got to get to any of the big major JR stations. I guess Shinjuku's the easiest one to get to from here. And then there's just the loop. There's the JR loop that goes around the city. And one of the stops is Ikebukuro. So that also means I should be able to exit from wherever, just whatever random station I get on at. Should be all good. So, why not go to Daily Yamazaki and get some curry bread and stuff first? Hang out in this neighborhood a little bit, then hop on a train. Man, why was I thinking I would buy 2 brown sugar lattes? I'm not even done the first one. I would have to literally just guzzle it down. That'd be insane. How big is it, these little cans? You know, it's like this sort of standard sized can. Maybe this one's slightly taller than normal. I cannot find the exact size, but you know, this is a normal sized can in Japan. Like I said, maybe even a little taller than normal. But in North America, this is what we would consider a very small can. It's about the size, I guess, of a Red Bull can. But yeah, it's taken me this long to drink it, and it's still not even gone. I think it's kind of like, it's not necessarily like that I am just drinking slow. I think I drink kind of based on percentage of drink. Like if this was a big can, I think each of my gulps would just be bigger. I don't know, whatever. Fascinating, right? Okay, I'm gonna go get some curry bread. You know, once I got out and got moving around, I'm like, this is delightful. I guess it's just that when you first get to Japan, it's like, hey, cool, I'll just go wherever, and it's all great. I guess just because I've been here for 2 months now, it feels like I should be doing a thing, or I should be seeing something specific, or I don't know, whatever. It was just choosing the target, I guess, was throwing me off. Like, what's the target? I don't know what targets are left. And then it's like, Ikebukuro, whatever. I'm just overthinking it. Definitely I was overthinking it, because once you're out and about, it's like, who even cares? Who cares where I'm going? It's just fun to be out here and to be going somewhere and just to be walking around Japan. Fuck a target. Who needs a target? Well, I mean, I guess you need a target. but yeah, just general Ikebukuro, that'll do. However, holy shit, Shibuya Station. This place sucks shit. I'm remembering now how I got lost here once and I couldn't even find an exit. Just to get from whatever random train I was on to the JR loop, I got turned around 3 times on the way here. You'd think following an arrow wouldn't be that hard. I haven't had anybody step on my heels till now, till today. It's happened twice in this station. It's just so packed. It's just so packed full of people. It's just terrible. I hate this. And now just trying to get on these trains, I'm just going to move. These trains are very long, so I'm just walking way to the end of the platform. And it seems that as I get further and farther, it's getting less and less. A train just left, so now if I go get into position for the next one, I think I can get on and it won't be so awful. What the hell is it today? Is it Saturday? I thought it was Saturday, but let me make sure it's not Friday. Yeah, it's Saturday, so I mean, presumably it's busy as hell every day, but the weekend don't help, that's for sure. That's for goddamn sure. Sweet fuck, man. I don't know that I guess I've run into some crowds while I've been here, but I don't think it's been like that on this trip, where it's just, the train is just completely packed full of people. And then getting off the train is just this sea, just a fucking flood of people. So you can't even really see, is that where the turnstiles are to exit, or are they just being enveloped by people so I can't see them? It's like, what the fuck? But I had an idea all of a sudden. So I get on this JR train and it's just packed as fuck. So I was just listening to music and reading comics on my phone, like, take me away from here. It's quite a few stops to Ikebukuro, so I don't need to pay attention for a while. Let's just let it go. But then at one point, as I was glancing up at next station, Shinjuku came up. And I've never really been a big fan of Shinjuku, but I haven't really been there a ton. You know, it's just crowded and fancy, and I don't know. I only really remember one day back when I was visiting in 2019 that I really gave the honest try of just let's walk around Shinjuku. And at some point I just bailed out because I was just kind of walking around, not really sure what I was doing there. There did seem to be a distinct lack of washrooms. You know, I'm so in love with the fact that Japan is full of bathrooms. And that neighborhood seemed to be way less. I think I actually went to a subway station just to pee, and I was like, yeah, you know what, let's just get the hell out of here. However, seeing that little next station is Shinjuku sign, I was like, you know, maybe I should give it one more go. Maybe I'll go to Ikebukuro first and then come back here at night. Walking around at night will probably be nice. It'll be pretty, you know? There's like the neighborhood where there's tons of weird little bars in the back streets and stuff. It's like, maybe that. It's a lot less busy now, by the way. All I had to do was go around the corner and it's not so bad. It's just the area right around the stations and at the stations. Holy fuck. But anyway, as the train was pulling away from Shinjuku, suddenly it's like a little lightning bolt hit me right in the top of the head. And I was like, all right, Kabukichō, the neighborhood from the Yakuza games. So this series of games, it's been out forever, for many, many, many years. Geez, probably 20 years now. There's like a zillion of these games. And I was always aware of them, but I hadn't played any of them until I was staying at my cousin's place during COVID lockdowns, and he had the remake of the first game, Yakuza Kiwami it's called. And these games, especially the early ones, they all take place in this one neighborhood. And it's like kind of a cool thing that it's this one enclosed neighborhood where you rarely go outside of it for certain missions, but mostly you're just in this one place, so you get to know it. Like when people tell you to go somewhere, you're like, oh yeah, I know how to get there. You go here, you turn here, blah, blah, blah. And they're not short games. You play them forever, but you're just walking around this one neighborhood, and it's just a cool thing. And almost all the early games, from what I understand, all took place in this one area. And it's not an exact replica. It's not going to quite be like the Your Name stairs where it's like, oh yeah, this is the place, I'm there all right. This is more of a vague recreation of this neighborhood, from what I understand. And I'd never been here before, but when I played the game, it did make me think a lot of West Ikebukuro. Feels very similar. I think, you know, any of these kind of bars and pachinko and semi-red light district type areas probably all have a similar feel. But I was like, oh yeah, I meant to go there because, I don't know, Yakuza, I mean, I can only speak about that first game, and it's weird. There's a lot of excellent stuff about it. Just the random storylines that happen with all the different characters are really delightful. The actual game mechanics, it's hard to say, but then again, it's also a really old game, and I played the remake, so it's partially old and partially new, and it's just a big mishmash. It's kind of one of these games that's like not worth criticizing, because who cares? It's a big fucking mess of weird shit. It's better just to take the good parts and enjoy them and not worry too much about the bad parts. And I was like, yeah, you know, I should fucking go to Kabukichō. I should go walk around there because I played that game for like fucking 80 hours or something. If it's even roughly the same, maybe it'll be like I'm in a video game. Maybe I'll know the neighborhood. Maybe I'll know where to go. But since I'm not like the hugest Yakuza fan, I only played that one game, it slipped my mind. I forgot all about this until just now. I'm like, oh shit, I'm right there. Fuck it then. So I got off at the next station, and Kabukichō conveniently is right between these two stations. So I don't know, here I am. And I mean, the way the Yakuza games are set up, it's this one neighborhood, and then when you get to the busy streets on the borders, the game stops. It won't let you cross the busy streets. So I was just walking down one of the busy streets and walked by a place with like, hey, there's ladies in here, you can get a massage. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the feeling. And now I'm off the major street, because you can tell obviously, because it's suddenly quiet. And there's like a park here. Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. It's like, I guess I'll have to walk around more. I don't know if I'm there yet. But the vibe of the neighborhood in general definitely seems similar. And this is definitely going to be a daytime and nighttime deal. So it's only 2:30 in the afternoon right now. So this is the daytime version. If it's anything like the game, it's not a very big neighborhood. So I'll probably do a quick little pass through here. I guess there's a tall ass building in front of me. There's certain parts that definitely stand out a lot. There's like a square in front of some big buildings. There's some distinct areas that for sure I bet are the same as in real life. Although I guess, if things hold true to normal, since Ikebukuro is like a smaller, awesomer version of everything, maybe the Ikebukuro West area even will be like better than here. Like a smaller but just kind of cooler feeling version of this. But anyway, I'm going to take a little walk through here, and I probably won't hang around here long enough for it to get dark. That's going to take forever. I still might bail out from here after I walk around, go do the Ikebukuro plan, and then I can swing by here on the way back and see what it's like at night. Because, I don't think this is the neighborhood I need to be hanging out in like all day and all night. Because I'm just not the drinking and whoring and pachinko guy. I'm just the walk around, do nothing guy. Not that that's like all this neighborhood is. I mean, every neighborhood is like a mix of all kinds of stuff in Japan. You could just come here to fucking eat ramen, whatever. It's not so seedy. But whenever you do hear stories about like people who get, like they'll draw tourists into a bar. Not Japanese people. These will be like people from, I don't know, like Africa apparently is a big one. They'll have these hosts outside that talk you into coming to their bar. And then they'll like drug you and steal your shit. It's like shocking stories for Japan. It's like, what the fuck? But generally, I guess it's not. I mean, there are Japanese people involved, but I don't think they're not generally the ringleaders of this type of thing. And it's still rare. I mean, it's not like that's just happening all the time. It's just a normal neighborhood. It's just people walking around and whatever. But from what I've heard, if that is going to happen to you, in the unlikely event, this is where it's going to happen. Kabukichō Tower. All right, that sounds like something big and important. But I think I'm pretty immune to random schemes and stuff like that, because I'm not looking to go to bars. I'm not looking to hang out. I'm not looking to talk to people. I'm not looking to do anything. I'm just looking to put headphones in and listen to a fucking podcast or some music while I walk around. That's my plan, to walk around. Okay, so this tower, if I pass through here, this area on the other side is looking familiar by the Toho Cinema. There's a little information booth. Pardon me, where's the video game? Point me to direct me to the video game, please. I wish to be in a video game world. Can you help me with that? Oh yeah, there's no fucking question. I've done a lot of fucking missions right here, dude. Yeah, I think just the square is the best way to describe it. If you played Yakuza Kiwami, probably a bunch of other Yakuza games, you probably know what I'm talking about. And yeah, like I said, it's despite the fact that it sounds like a fucking underground rave, it's like a sunny day, 2:30 in the afternoon. There's two people dancing. Everyone else is just watching this DJ. Yeah, I feel like maybe this would be cooler at night. Maybe it will be. Or maybe people will just stand awkwardly any time of day or night, but they are not getting down with this. They're just standing and watching. Oh man, yeah, this is a weird feeling. So there's like all these little restaurants you can go to, and I don't know, it's just like you're just filling up menus for the sake of filling them up, but it's like, hey, go to all the restaurants and eat all the dishes. And like this place right up ahead of me, it's like, oh yeah, I've been there. I ate all their dishes just so I could get all the check marks on my menu. This is pretty fucking cool. I can't believe I forgot about this. How weird. I'm like racking my brain for like, what am I gonna do? And I forgot all about this. Oh man, that's just so weird. That one restaurant, it really looks like that. What the heck? Yeah, and it really is a small neighborhood. Geez, it might be smaller in real life. I mean, maybe I'll keep walking around and we'll see. Because yeah, I'm like, I think this is where Kiryu is your character's name. And there's like a bar that he works at. And it's like right down this street. But it looks like I'm already at the border of where the neighborhood ends. Up here's where the guy stands who gives you all your like unlockable shit. You talk to him to unlock stuff. The game's a bit bigger for sure. They like squeezed an extra block in here, I think, just so there'd be more space to run around and beat people up and have fight scenes. And the subway station as you turn the corner, and the weird drugstores. Man, like it's not even close to one-to-one, but the vibe and the feeling and like the basic geography is so close and so accurate. This is fucking cool, man. Oh yeah, this Don Quixote. I don't know what it's called in Yakuza, but I've been in that store for sure. This is fucked up, man. What the fuck? This is weird as hell. I guess this kind of happened because I lived in New York when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out. That game does not hold up, by the way. Man, what a ponderous pain in the butt that game is to play. But basically, how GTA 4 works, and probably 5 as well, I've never been to the West Coast, the whole area isn't accurate, but just bits and pieces are. You know, you'll get to a corner where you're like, oh, there's that museum, I've been there. Or the Unisphere was near my place in Flushing, and that was in GTA. Or just like bridges and different things. Like you get to corners in Manhattan and you're like, wow, for this like 2 blocks, I'm inside Grand Theft Auto, and then it would disappear. So it's similar with the Yakuza thing, except it's just this one place. Yeah, it's way smaller in real life, because yeah, here's the big tower, where at the end of the game, spoiler alert, not that it matters, but for the first Yakuza, there's like an explosion that happens at the top of this building, and money rains down on everybody in a holiday miracle. Man, yeah, this would definitely be one of those cases where if I didn't remember this and come here directly, if I had just been walking around, it would have been another one of those cases where it might have taken a second to sink in, because there's a lot of other neighborhoods that have a lot of this same feel. But I'm sure it would have clicked where I'm like, wait a minute though, this is just a little too close. This is a little too accurate. All right, well, you know what? Let's test it out then. So I've been on the north and west sides. So let's just keep walking and let's use the game as my navigation. So based on the game, if I go to the east and then maybe up to the north a bit, there should be like an area with a bunch of little back alleys that has different little restaurants and shit in it. And a park. See if I can find the park. The park's pretty famous. They let you, it's like these underground surveillance hobos that are secretly watching the neighborhood. And they let you into secret fight clubs and stuff. Presumably that's not real, but who knows? Maybe I'll join a secret fight club today. Yeah, here it is, dude. Here's the little back streets. Fuck my balls. This is cool, man. I can't... Man, I'm so glad. Imagine if I had forgotten. Because I only have a little bit of time left in central Tokyo before I go out to the fucking western bit again. I would have been up on a mountain somewhere, hours away. And then I would have gone like, oh, idiot. You forgot to go to Kabukichō, you stupid fuck. Now you got to take a 3-hour train ride back just to go here. I'm very glad I did this while I was here. Dude. Yeah, it's, again, everything's smaller in real life. It's not, there's not as many weird little back alleys and stuff. It's interesting because even as a game, that's one of the things that's strange about that game, is that on first blush, you're like, wow, for a video game, this sure is small. But then you realize how cool it is to just sort of tread over the same places over and over, and how it's interesting how much they can get out of it. But though it's small for a video game, they actually stretched it out quite a bit compared to the real place. These games, by the way, if you're looking for them for branding purposes, they were called Yakuza for years, but I think the problem with that is the Yakuza, the real life, Japanese mafia. I guess let it slide for a while, and maybe they never cared. Maybe it's just an image thing. Eventually, Sega, who makes the game, was like, what are we doing with this? So they changed the name to Like a Dragon. Okay, I'll go up to the park after. First, I turn the corner to like, oh, here's where all the hostess clubs are. And yet they sure are today's. And just tons of restaurants and stuff. And still there's this like a nice old lady just went by me on her bicycle. That's one thing that's so neat about Japan. Everything is so mixed together. There is no like separate neighborhood or like, oh, that's the bad part of town that's all by itself. It's still all just mixed in with everything. There's still just all kinds of people doing all kinds of stuff. I saw over on the edge when I first came in, the classic, just the windows with laundry hanging out of them. I haven't seen that once you get more into Kabukichō. I don't think there's just a bunch of regular apartments in here. But all on the edges there are. Oh, it's like a pachinko place. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's got all these like big statues. Not statues, like, I don't know, mannequin things moving around. And there's just a normal old UFO catcher thing. I guess there was that too in the game. There's all these, I didn't finish every mission because some of them were so annoying. Just doing all these dumb fucking claw games and stuff. Playing games with the local kids. I don't see any of the local kids here, but in the game there were some. Yeah, so I'm just kind of snaking my way around. I don't know if I just saw that for sure, but there's like a long-haired Japanese guy, which, that's a little rare. You don't see a ton of them. And he's walking with a black dude. And they did kind of the little like, hey, slap my hand. But I'm pretty sure the black dude, like, put something in his palm. Did I just witness an illicit exchange? Could have been my imagination. I don't know. They're real serious about drugs in Japan. Like, even just like marijuana, you get, like, deported. So don't do drugs, kids. And there's a Taito station across the street. I should go there after. That wasn't in the game. But in the game, you couldn't cross the street. Now I can cross the street. It's real life. I can cross the street. Yeah, I snaked around back to the Don Quixote. Man, it's one thing that is like really rare in Japan is cleavage. Like crazy rare. Even if you're in like a neighborhood where there's like love hotels everywhere and like babes hanging around on corners to, be picked up. I'll put it that way, I guess. It's like the coded language around here. The coded uniform is just short skirts and tall boots. I only ever saw one time. This is like an odd thing to bring up, but it's just that it's so unusual and it's so rare. When I was at West Ikebukuro, in its kind of like seedy area, I saw one lady one time who was wearing like a low-cut top and had like visible cleavage, and she was on her way into an apartment building. She was outside for like a second. And I mean, of all the probably literally hundreds of thousands of people I've walked past in Japan, that was literally the only time I remember ever seeing cleavage. It just doesn't happen here. And I mean, partially maybe it's just that there's not a lot of women that have huge tits, but there's still plenty. I still see like Japanese guys that are as tall as me, things trend toward skinny and short, but not everybody. It's definitely a style choice more than it is just that people don't have cleavage, you know? They could have it, and they just don't. They just will not do it. I don't know, it's just interesting. Like in your day-to-day life, it's not that weird. If that's just not what you do, if it's just not socially acceptable, then yeah, don't do it. You know, why make things more awkward for yourself when everyone around you is gonna just feel weird about it? But if you're in Kabukichō, of all the places, if there's ever a place, but nope, not here either. Just like, nope, not gonna do it. Just short skirts everywhere. Lots of short skirts to show that, hey.
In this area, there are a lot of touts and establishments that overcharge customers. For your safety, beware of touts and do not go along with them. You will be ripped off. In addition, please make sure to check the information on the internet before starting bars or adult entertainment establishments. Once again, beware of touts and never accept their offers.
So yeah, that was just a loudspeaker message. Beware of touts. Do not accept their offers. Check on the internet before you go to adult establishments, you know? I mean, yeah, so I guess it was enough of a problem that now they're just like broadcasting, like, hey dummy, hey stupid foreigner, don't just follow somebody because they say to follow them. I mean, I know you're in Japan, the beautiful land where everything's fine and crime is low and nothing bad's gonna happen to you. But we can't sanitize the entire country. This one neighborhood is kind of fucked up, so use your common sense. If I hadn't heard those stories already, if I didn't know that about this neighborhood, can you imagine hearing that over the loudspeaker? You'd be like, what is going on here? What have I just walked into? Anyway, once I'm done wandering around, I'm just kind of snaking my way through the southeastern corner. So yeah, there's the big park in the northeast, but there was this smaller park right in the middle that a surprising amount of stuff happened at in the game. I wonder if that's real. It doesn't feel like there would even be room for a park anywhere in this neighborhood. But I'm going to try to find those two. Surely the big park's real. Oh yeah. Friendly reminder that it's Christmas time. Man, it's weird to just bring up random stuff because it's just audio. Kind of, what's the point? But there's this like parking lot that's walled around the parking lot on the corner with one opening in the front for cars. And it's like, again, one of these places, as soon as you see it, it's like, oh, there's that place. It's so neat too, where just because of it being a video game, it's not just walking around. It's not even the same as just seeing a place in a movie or an anime or whatever. It's like I've been in that parking lot to talk to some guy to do some stupid mission. You know, it's like extra. It extra makes it feel like I recognize this place. So yeah, if I walk up here around the side of the parking lot and hang a right, if there's not a park there, I'll be disappointed. Surely there's a park there. I'm putting my money on the park's there. Because then there's some stuff too. There's a little place like east of here that had like a batting cage and stuff. I feel like that might be, I don't know that would fit here. It's possible, but I think that was just so they could put mini games in the game, you know. I don't expect that to be here. This little alleyway too. There's no telephone booths at all here, but also the Yakuza games, you know, they're from some time back, those early ones. So maybe there were telephone booths here at the time, and they're just not here anymore. But yeah, this alleyway, I always remembered this alleyway seemed a little vacant in the game. It was like not that much going on here. But there was a telephone booth where you could save your game. Is that how it worked? It's been a while, I'm pretty sure. There's definitely a taxi you could take here. Because despite how small the map is, you could still taxi around. And then I think you had to use the taxi for one of the rare times when you leave the neighborhood. But yeah, the taxi was down here. For sure. Man, imagine how put upon you must feel. Say you're a nice Nigerian guy and you're running a bar in Kabukichō and you've convinced some Japanese women to be touts, or just dudes. I don't know. Actually, I don't know who the touts are that try to fucking talk people into stuff. But you have a nice family business of drugging people and stealing their credit cards and running up bills. You know, you're just trying to make a living. You're just trying to get by. And they're literally broadcasting through a loudspeaker. Hey, these motherfuckers are trying to drug you and take your money. You must be like, dude, come on. Oh man, I think I spoke too soon. Listen to this. It's not in the same location, but that's a fucking batting cage, my friend. God damn, dude. Yakuza's a cool game, but I respect it even more now. This is ludicrous. Like, come on, man. How are even the places that I was like, oh, those aren't going to be there, and they're there. Yeah, so the batting cages are nearer where the park was in the game, and where I believe the park was is a parking lot. So yeah, maybe it's not here. But dude, I'll take it. I mean, it's like that's an easy trade-off. Oh, that one thing maybe isn't actually here, but the other thing that I never expected to actually be here is here. How great is that too, by the way? I mean, that's just Japan all over, right? It's like, yeah, this is the neighborhood that's famous for the bars and the love hotels and the love that goes on in said hotels. But hey, maybe you just want to go to a batting cage, man. Maybe you just want to have a little fun. There's also a store that had little like mini RC race cars and stuff, but I don't even think that was in the original game. I'm pretty sure that was one of the things they added into the remake. So that's definitely not here. There's no way there's a store here that sells RC cars. But man, I don't know. Pretty fucking rad, dude. And yeah, even with that, geez, I've only been here half an hour. It's still several hours till it gets dark. I definitely got to come back when it's dark, because that's another big part of the game too, is what time of day it is. You get different missions and talk to different people based on the time of day. So I'm going to come back when it's dark. I got my daytime eye full, but man, I'm impressed, dude. That was really cool. And it made me doubly happy that I played that game. You know, I mean, I always kind of was curious about those games, but it is one of those things where it's like there's a lot of good stuff about the game, and then there's a lot of stuff that is like, geez, this is kind of dragging on. But it was kind of neat to play in general, and it was like a nice taste of Japan while I was stuck in Canada. It was like, oh yeah, you're just in a little neighborhood, and you just go to the convenience store and you buy shit and whatever, and it has funny storylines and little shit happening, and you fight people. But yeah, it paid off tenfold now to come to the real place. Fucking neat. It's just goddamn neat, dude. I don't know how else to describe it. Just fucking neat. If you got a trip to Japan, a trip to Tokyo coming in the future, and you got easy access to one of the old Yakuza games, just play it for like, you know, you don't have to play the whole thing. Play it for like 10 hours. You know, just play it enough that you really know that neighborhood. Just so then you can come to this neighborhood and it'll blow your fucking mind. It's fucking really cool feeling. I just stopped in a fucking pachinko parlor just because I'm like, yeah, why not? I haven't been in one yet this whole journey. And two handy things. One thing is, like I was saying before, the whole neighborhood in general of Shinjuku, very hard to find washrooms around here for whatever reason. It's very unlike in Tokyo to be that way. But I went in and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just walking around for no reason in the pachinko place. But it's like, oh, of course they have washrooms. They don't want you to ever leave. So it's a good, that's a good pro tip if you need to pee. stop in the pachinko place. But they also have signs all over this for a new Evangelion pachinko machine. And that brought back a memory of like, oh yeah, I remember one of the guys on the Trash Taste podcast, Joey the Anime Man, mentioning that Evangelion is one of the highest grossing anime franchises of all time. But not because of the show and not because of all the movies, because of the pachinko machines. It's like sad but true. It's like what happened to the video game company Konami. They're like, yeah, why bother making video games? We can just make pachinko machines and whatever. And it's like, man, that's disappointing. Because pachinko is just, it's no more mindless than the gambling machines we have in North America. This shit's all fucking stupid, but it's no less stupid, that's for sure. And yeah, when I was in there, I walked by the row of the brand new Evangelion machines and they were all being used, every single one. However, the picture is cool because it's Rei Ayanami, the blue-haired girl from Evangelion, but with long hair. And she actually looks really rad. I've never seen, of all the millions of interpretations of Evangelion through the years, I've never seen her with long hair before. It looks good, my bro. Yeah, and Evangelion, as with many things, great in the memory. I respect it and its place in anime history and a lot of the cool stuff that it did, so long as I never need to watch it again. Because, dude, that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. So, amazing at the time, though. Alright, I was just on my way out of the neighborhood. Figure I'll wander off somewhere else till it gets dark. But the real neighborhood goes a little further east than I realized, and the part I mentioned with all the little alleyways and all the little restaurants, I thought I had found it, but I did not. The real one, this is one case where it's actually bigger in real life than in the game, like a lot bigger. It's like double the size. There's all these little tiny narrow streets, little alleyway streets, just packed full of different restaurants. And they're mostly closed. I assume this is a nighttime fucking neighborhood. But this is really cool. It is like really narrow. It just doesn't feel quite real. It feels like a little, I don't know, for some reason it makes me think of if you went to like a park when you were a kid. I'm not thinking of any specific one, just in general. They might have like a little setup for like a little hobbit town or something. All these little doorways and little buildings and little narrow alleyways. And I mean, no word of a lie, there's got to be 200 different fucking bars here. It's fucking nuts, dude. This is ridiculous. Oh, Shinjuku Golden Guy. Come to think of it, I've heard that term Golden Guy before. Is this? I don't think so. There's like kind of a famous thing. Maybe this is it. I've heard of people talk about this like famous part of Shinjuku where there's like a whole bunch of little bars and back alleys, but I didn't think it was here because I thought I had been to that. Maybe there's like a bunch of them. Maybe there's not just one. I mean, it would make sense that there's not just one. Because yeah, I've been to another one that I don't know where it was, but it wasn't here. Anyway, whatever. It exists. It's fucking cool as fuck. But it's daytime, so nothing is happening here. This is kind of a cool, unexpected, random discovery. So I thought I could hop on the train and go to Ikebukuro and kind of do my original Ikebukuro plan. But it's not necessarily that far to Ikebukuro. I could kind of walk there. But it also gets so extremely dark, so extremely fast in the winter in Japan that, I mean, I really only got to kill like an hour and it's going to be extremely dark. Maybe a little more than an hour. So I could just stay in this hood. So I was like, you know, let me just go check out. There are some parks not too far from here. And I was thinking like maybe they just took one of the local parks and pulled it in closer for the game. Because I mean, pretty much everything else is there. It seems weird that the park is like the one thing, the one really distinct landmark that isn't there. I bet one of these local parks is the park. You just, you know, gotta go 2 or 3 blocks further away, which in the game just wouldn't have worked. So I'm on my way to Toyama Park Okubo area, but on the way is Toyama Park Mount Hakone area. But I didn't think this would be the one because this one is kind of long and a weird design. If anything, it's probably the other one, but I don't know, whatever, we'll see. But when I got to the entrance of this park, I was like, holy crap, I've been here before. I recognize, because when I was visiting in 2019, at one point, when I was staying near Ikebukuro, I just walked across Tokyo one day. I don't even remember where I started from, but somewhere around here, obviously. And I walked through this area, but I remember at the time it was brutally hot because it was summer, and I had to just sit in the shade for a while. I remember I got a tall can of Coca-Cola, which I don't normally get, but it was the biggest thing in the machine that had caffeine in it. And I just sat there in the shade and I guzzled that whole can. And I just know somewhere ahead of me, if I were to keep going this way, it's weird because it's just the only landmarks I remember in the city are businesses and logos, so it's like, I know there's a McDonald's somewhere near here, and then a Mr. Donut a bit further on. But that's kind of interesting that I guess I was near Kabukichō. I probably just walked right past it or walked around it. But I don't know that it would have stood out, especially back then, because I hadn't played Yakuza yet. I mean, I probably still would have stood out. I would have been like, wow, this is a pretty happening neighborhood. There's a whole bunch of stuff crammed in here. Actually, that would have been kind of cool, because then maybe when I played the game, I'd be like, oh, that place. But yeah, no, I walked completely past it before. But man, the extreme difference of just having maps on your phone that I could tell you the name of this park and that I could tell you what it's connected to and what it's nearby. Where that was probably part of what made visiting Japan in 2019 feel so dreamlike. Not just visiting Japan and how cool that was, but really just not ever really knowing where the heck I was. Just wandering. I don't remember how I got to this park. I don't remember really quite where I went after it. I was just like floating through Tokyo. And then occasionally stopping in at Konbini Wi-Fi to figure out where I am. But even I noticed a street sign on the way here that said, keep going this way for Ikebukuro and Oji. So you can kind of get around just with that type of shit. Or even on this trip when I walked from Shibuya to Itabashi, just use the highway signs. They can get you to neighborhoods. They can navigate you in broad strokes. And then the little details are all just a hazy, weird dream. But yeah, as neat as that was conceptually, it's kind of a cool memory. I don't foresee going back to that plan. Because it was, pretty innocuous in the cities. It's like, hey, whatever, just wander around, it's fine. Worst case scenario, just get on a subway, hop in a subway station, and you can just figure out how to get home from there. Getting lost was no biggie. But man, the Google map has really come in handy on mountains and in the woods and stuff, even just at Ome the other day. You can actually use it to figure out where the heck you are and how far it is to a trail or something. All right, this park, Toyama Park Okubo area, it feels a bit like the park from Yakuza Kiwami. I mean, probably, it's roughly, I gotta assume this is probably the one, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a lot of parks in Japan, who knows. And I mean, in the game, it's kind of a weird situation too, now that I think about it, because it was a smaller park with these washrooms, and you have to be led through a secret entrance in one of the washrooms into the park. And they've kind of walled off the park and made it into a secret area of town. The whole thing is pretty fanciful and weird. I'm just walking under a little bridge. You can hear the little echo. Oh shit, now that I'm walking back the other way, I can see that big building, that big famous ass building whose name I don't know, all lit up, way in the distance. But yeah, definitely, it does feel the same, but I think this is one of those things you would not walk through this park and go, oh, wait a second, Yakuza. You know, you got to be thinking about Yakuza. Then if you come to this park and you squint a bit, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Maybe, sort of. So I think it's safe to say the parks, unless I'm missing something obvious, the parks are just, you know, a sort of general amalgam of parks. Because also on the way here, I passed like a little teeny park, one of the really small little ones that's like half a block. And it looked extremely similar to one of the little parks in Yakuza. But to be fair, all the little parks look like that. They're just these tiny little parks with no grass, just little, it's like a little lot, like a little dirt lot with some benches and maybe some swings and stuff, and you just kind of hang out in there. So yeah, it's also pitch freaking black now, which also, man, it does feel like a video game. It feels like in Yakuza when it gets dark. If anything, it might get dark faster in real life than it did in the game. But yeah, it's like the different world, the whole other fucking side of things. So I'm heading back. I assume it's going to be more of the same, just now with more lights, and it'll just seem even cooler. But I also figured today's the day. Because when I first came to Japan in 2019, one of my weird kind of fun memories, because I don't really drink that much, and there's this drink called Strong Zero that I think it's kind of known in general, but it was extra known to wrestling nerds, because there was this tag team called Roppongi Vice that were North Americans, but who wrestled in Japan, and their finishing move was called the Strong Zero. I put off drinking for like the first 3 weeks I was in Japan because I'm just like, hey, whatever. That's not part of my normal routine anyway. But then when I did, I was like, well, let me try the Strong Zero. And I remember that night because I couldn't believe how messed up I felt after one Strong Zero. Because they're very fucking strong. And then on this trip, I had my horrible vomiting disaster night in Chiba where it's just like, no more drinking. Fuck drinking. But one drink in the right fucking environment, I think that's fine. So heading back to Kabukichō at night, what better time? How else am I going to get rolled by some tout who tries to trick me if I'm not a little buzzed? So I was going to get a Strong Zero, but they're 9%. 9! It's so insane. But then I saw another brand, a Sangaria, I think the brand is called, that was, instead of lemon, it was grapefruit. And it was only 6%. So I'm like, all right, give me that one. I like grapefruit better because it just kind of cuts the sweetness. And 6 is not as insane as 9. 6 is still pretty robust. These things too, I mean, it's like $1.50 or something for this giant tall can. It's like, what the fuck? Thank God I'm not a drinker. You just die in Japan. You would just die. You can also buy like the little tiny, like 1 cup of sake for a similar price for like $1.50. It's like, dude, in Canada, like those little teeny weeny bottles of booze, they're like $6 or $7. I don't know. Are they that much? They probably are by now. Canadian alcohol prices are it's insane. It is so expensive. So anyway, I got the 6%. I poured the water out of my water bottle and I just put it in my water bottle. So I'm just going to sip it. Just sip it as I walk around. So far, I don't really notice. So I guess may that continue. Geez, actually I'm passing one of these machines and it's got one of those super vitamin C drinks. Just after being around all these people today, another common fucking element of this podcast. When I'm around people, I get nervous that I'm going to get sick, that I'm going to catch a cold, and I still haven't. But these vitamin C drinks, they don't hurt, man. 120 yen, that happens to be exactly how many coins I got in my wallet. Now the question is, do I shotgun this bad boy or do I just add it to my booze mix? I think I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it to the mix, so as I sip away, I get some vitamin C as well. Man, right away I'm noticing stuff way easier at night, where I kind of came in from about the same place as before, but right away I noticed like, oh, there's like this weird fancy, I don't know, Roman marble looking kind of hotel, and I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking remember that thing, but there was no mission in that place. But then just down the block from it is this other super fancy pants, columns, altered beast, also kind of a weird Roman look. But this one, it's got these, it's all white, but it's got these red steps. And I'm like, dude, I remember that. There's a whole mission. You go up in there and you go up through all the floors of the hotel. It's really unusual to go in a building in Yakuza and to really spend a lot of time in there. But that was a major part. I was like, oh, there's that fucking place. Holy crap. The video game aspect, it really does. It just adds to it like crazy, man. It's just holy shit. Yeah, this place, as with pretty much all places, but this place is way cooler at night. It was really cool in the daytime, but when everything's all lit up, oh man. Man, I was just walking along and it's just a moment that just felt so much like I was in a Yakuza game. Where I'm on one of the little, kind of back streets, not a lot of traffic, mostly foot traffic. Walking past love hotels and stuff, a guy came out of a parking lot and was crossing the street and dropped a big wad of just cold hard cash on in the middle of the street, and he had to bend over to pick up all of his money while a car that was coming down the road had to slow down for the guy that's just picking up all these bills off the ground. And I don't know, just a weird little moment that I'm like, dude, that feels like a Yakuza game for sure. Man, one immediate difference, because it's not even late yet, it's 6:30. But because it's winter, it feels like it could be fucking 3 a.m. It's incredibly dark in the sky. It's that classic pure black sky. But the biggest, most obvious difference from day to nighttime is that there's I'm gonna say, well, I guess based on the fact that I saw one black dude earlier. Oh, there's the little coin lockers. I don't remember what they were for in the game, but you went and unlocked those and you got something out of them. I think it was just outfits or something. I don't know. Cosmetics. But I guess just based on that I saw one black dude. So just based on that, I think the number of black dudes that are out now just trying to convince people to come do stuff is 50 times greater. It's just yo, dude, hey, man. And that's as far as I've ever gotten. I've only heard yo dude and hey man, because I've also got headphones in. I'm just listening to music while I soak in this vibe of this cool looking place. So I got headphones in and my hood up because it's a little chilly, so they can't tell that I can't really hear them. I got the music set low enough that I won't run into people or get hit by a car. But yeah, that's very noticeable. And not only was there the loudspeaker message, but there's little signs. There's little signs all over the place that say barkers, barking, whatever. I think it says barkers, not barking. Barkers are prohibited by Shinjuku City law, blah, blah, blah. But clearly no one gives a sweet fuck. But I don't know, it's an interesting thing because Japan's such a homogenous society that it's so obvious in this neighborhood. You got a bunch of white nerds walking around of both genders. It's pretty split. But definitely, I can't say that many of the other foreigners I've seen, I'd say they're all approximately as cool as I am, which is to say not very cool. And then you get the black dudes that are trying to rope them into fucking do dumb shit. It's just couldn't be more clear that there's these different races of people and they all fall into extremely prescribed categories. I don't know, man, it's just kind of interesting. But presumably it's as far as it's going to go. All I'm going to know is that there's dudes that say, yo, hey, what's up? And I'll never know how it goes further than that. Because if it does, then I've fallen into a Yakuza mission. And we don't want that, dude. Nothing good's going to come out of that. there is a couple that is still dancing in that central square at the Central Square dance party. I hope to fuck that they were hired to get the party started, you know? Surely to fuck they were. Because how can you stand there and dance for like 4 fucking hours or whatever? Like, that's insane. They have to be. I mean, come on. Anyway, it's working a little better. A bit more people are grooving out, but in a very stilted and awkward way. Anyway, let's finish off with the dance beat from whence we began. Because, yeah, this is cool at night, but I think I should wrap this up kind of soonish, because the vibe I'm getting here, it's very similar to the red light district in Amsterdam, not in a sexualized way. You know, this place got a lot of weird massage parlors and love hotels, but it's still all not on Front Street. You know, it's definitely like you gotta peel back the surface. Whereas the red light district is just like, hey, here's some fucking naked women, or functionally naked, all over the place. But being just a weird wanderer as I am, who never partakes in anything, who just walks around and looks at stuff. You know, when I was here earlier, nobody was paying any attention because it was just the afternoon and who cares. But now that it's like fully functional and the barkers are out, the touts are out and stuff, the way that it feels like the red light district is that I just feel like you should, you know, you can walk around and soak it in and like, all right, cool, soak up the vibe. But if you walk around enough that people start to recognize that you're the same guy walking around over and over, I feel like in a neighborhood like this, that's just a bit weird, you know? If you're not here to do anything, if you're just here to soak it in, there reaches a point where it's weird that you're still there, you know? Where I noticed that in the red light district of like, I guess like the second time you walk by a naked lady in the window, maybe they just see so many people that they would never care or notice. But the feeling I got, what made me feel weird is I'm like, geez, if she recognizes me, I surely can't walk by a third time. They'd be like, who is this fucking masturbator just walking around looking at ladies in windows? You know, again, maybe nobody gives a shit, but that's how I felt. I don't want to feel like that. Where here it's weird because it's just like these guys that are presumably trying to fleece people. But even then, I don't want the fucking fleecers to just see me walk by many times. I don't know, it's just weird. And it looks like my booze bottle, it's a little over half gone. The responsible thing to do would be to just toss this. Maybe I will. Fuck it. What do I care? It was $1.50. You know? Still can't get over that. How fucking cheap this shit is. It's nuts. But yeah, for sure, walking around the seedy parts of town has diminishing returns. And at some point, it just starts to feel weird. Again, even if I'm just imagining it, a reflected imaginary feeling that no one else is noticing or caring. If I feel it, it's real to me, damn it. But this was extremely cool. I'm definitely glad I came here. I'm glad I played a Yakuza game, and then I'm glad I came here. The two things, they go hand in hand. Here, let's head back toward the thumping beat. So the thumping beat will get louder and louder and louder and drown out any ability I have to speak, and then that'll force me to end this episode because I'll have no choice, because I'm just gonna get blasted into atoms by the insane super music. Man, I went to this one dance club. The girl I dated in New York was really into like dancing and shit because she was awesome at dancing. I went to this one club where they had speakers that only came up to my clavicle, so that you felt the thump in your body for dancing, but it didn't assault your head. It didn't get that loud in the ears. And it was fucking genius. And I have never been to a place like that ever again. It was so cool. All right. Everything's getting loud and distorted now. I'm gonna let the thump take us out. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Adios.